more than you would expect. We had so many.
What's going on, Z Nation? It's your boy Big Z the Penguin here at Z Nation. Alright guys, so for today's video we're going to be starting a team building guide that I think is great and that you can use really for any format, any tournament or competition that you're going to be entering. And, you know, basically just building a team, and this is as good as for beginners, intermediates, and even like those who are just advanced that you know, who are pretty good but like, you know, could use some new tips. Um, and so this is gonna be a multi-video series. Whereas I just don't have enough time, and I'm sure most people don't have enough time to watch an entire video based on a complete team building process. That's me personally. Like I wouldn't have enough. I don't have, hours to just watch team building guides. And then after a while, you kind of you're not as into the, or you're not paying as much attention just because after a while so much information can get kind of overflowing. And so I think doing like one step at a time is ideal. So for this one, so for the first step, this is before I even build any team. I like to take a look at the meta. What is the meta? The meta are going to be Pokemon that are beyond popular. That I guess you could determine, or I guess you could state that, oh, they are dominating the format. So looking at these 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. So looking at these 9 Pokemon, what's a Pokemon that's really standing out to you? For me, I see Regieleki and Glastrier, or however you pronounce it. Okay. You see Rillaboom a good bit, and Incineroar as well. Well, you actually only see 2 Incineroars, but you see Rillaboom, Glacier, and Regieleki, and of course, you know, down here. And basically, you have Pokemon that are just really popular, and so being able to build your team to counter them is always ideal. And even possibly using them is ideal. Keep in mind, these are just kind of just rough, basic teams to where, like for instance, you see Hyper Offense team. This would just be standard, but you may see like, oh, they have Tornadus, Whimsicott, Cinderace, Regieleki, but Dragapult, but then they may have like Blaziken, or they may have other Pokemon that are just strictly for speed and stuff. This is just kind of giving you a basic, just a basic layout and everything. And so, I don't know if you guys can see my notepad, but if you can, I'm gonna be making notes, basically how to counter each one. So let's go ahead and jump into it. So for our first team, we've got, Hyper Offense. So Hyper Offense generally are gonna be fast Pokemon, frail Pokemon, powerful Pokemon. They want to end the game within 3 to 5 turns. And before we start, I want to give a shout out to EX Pokemon. So you guys can see it, YouTube shout out. Check out his channel. I'll put a link to his channel in the description. He made a little thing to prepare for Players Cup 3. And this is such a great guide. And this is where I'm getting a lot of my information from, just to really get it out there as well. But he's the one who gets the credit for for this idea, and so definitely wanted to give you guys that. So for counters, so the way you would want to counter a team is a faster Hyper Offense team, such as maybe having a faster Tailwind user or having priority. Something along the lines of that, or just faster Pokemon that have a little bit more bulk. Bulkier mons. Basically, you want to be able to take hits. Speed control is always ideal, such as Trick Room, Tailwind, Thunder Wave, Nuzzle, Max Airstream. That's having a speed control is just ideal. Whether it is Trick Room or Tailwind, Thunder Wave, Nuzzle, or Max Airstream. Basically, you just want to be able to make sure you can move when you want to move. And for the most part, that's going to be us wanting to move first. In a few cases, we may want to move last, such as like Magnezone, like Porygon. So, like, being able to move last is sometimes is what we want to do. But for the most part, we want to you want to move first so you can get that knockout, and then your opponent's Pokemon can't move. So you may not see necessarily this entire team, but this is an idea of like what a hyper offense team would look like. The next one we're gonna take a look at is the Ice Horse Trick Room. So Glacier is a really actually I want to move this one to the front. So Glacier is a new Pokemon that came out. Let's go ahead and put in Ice Horse Trick Room. Um, is the new Pokemon that came out in the Crown Tundra. It has a ton of bulk. With it, so let's go ahead and take a look. 100 HP stat, 144 of attack, 130 defense, 110 special defense. Not too much special attack with just 65 and speed 30. At first glance, like, oh, this isn't too good because he's really doesn't have much. But when you think about other play styles such as like Trick Room, Glacier is ideal and he does so much. Super fast for Trick Room. Super bulky. More so on the physical side, but it can take some special hits. Basically, that's what it is. Super fast for Trick Room, super bulky. It's hard to destroy. And you'll most likely see it on a Trick Room team, which such as Dusclops, Stakataka, Amoonguss. I just put Torkoal in there because I did want to make all these the ideas like cores and stuff. I decided I wanted to make a whole team for. And so I put like Torkoal and Hatterene. But you may not necessarily see something like this. But you could venture to say you'll see Dusclops or Porygon, along with Stakataka and possibly Amoonguss, maybe Torkoal and Hatterene. The way you're gonna counter something like that is either reverse Trick Room, powerful fighting types, fire, steel, and rock types. With fire, you have sun. If you have the sun up, boom, it'll destroy it. Well, not destroy it, but it'll do some good. Super strong. So it's also super strong. So after every knockout, its attack goes up by a stage. If it KOs another Pokemon. Let's see. Bulky Pokemon. Your mons. Basically, you want to the idea is to just beat Trick Room all in all. If you can beat Trick Room, you'll be in really good shape. Like, Intimidate is great. Will-O-Wisp. Max Wormwind. And so, those are just some little ideas on how you can just, you can lower its offensive pressure while you're dishing out yours. So let's go ahead and take a look at the next one. Next we got a special sweep. So, this is, something that I noticed that is popping up. You'll generally see Grimmsnarl, Dragapult, or like Regieleki to set up screens. More so Grimmsnarl just because of how bulky it is. You set up screens, and you have all these sweepers, more so special. A common core you'll see is like Zapdos, Heatran, possibly Rotom Wash. But we put Blastoise here just for the to not share any of the types. You'll see Niligo, however you pronounce it, and I just threw Rillaboom in to complete that Water, Fire, Grass, Electric core. And on the outside. And so let's see. So like a dual screen sweeper team. Hard to Oko. Returns with fast and powerful attacks. Great type coverage. And this kind of goes like similar to like a hyper offense, except you have screens and stuff. And generally these like teams like this have great type coverage. So like whereas Heatran may be weak to ground types, but you have Rillaboom and Blastoise. Rillaboom may be weak to flying types, but you got Zapdos and Niligo, and so you have quite a few things that you can do in counter. So I guess a way of countering it would definitely be speed control in forms of Trick Room, Tailwind. Oh. So basically, Grimmsnarl can use Fake Tears, and since he has Prankster, he can activate it immediately, and then his other sweepers can do so much damage. So, but having speed control says this Trick Room, Tailwind, Thunder Wave, Nuzzle, Max, Airstream, um, bulkier Mons, a hyper offense. I mean, a hyper offense is okay, but you gotta be careful with the screens. A screen destroyer. So, like, say you had like Dragapult with Psychic Fangs, or like a Pokemon with Brick Break, you could break the screens. That's always ideal. Some like they could even use something like Lapras. Um, with the Araville, so something like that. So those would be some kind of counters. Um, and so you don't really see this as much, but it definitely is. It's out there enough to where you should definitely plan for it. Next, we got our first weather team. So Sun teams. Venusaur is super fast under Sun. Torkoal is the slowest weather setter. Works great with Trick Room. Sleep can put your entire team to sleep. So basically, in the earlier, back in VGC 2020, like during the early series, you would see like Torkoal, Venusaur, Gashadon, possibly Charizard because of the solar power, or like, what's his face? Heliosic or whatever, and then you could see like Dusclops with like Rhyperior or Conkeldurr. Or even like Snorlax. Well, I decided to keep the main core, like Torkoal, Venusaur, Charizard, Gashadon, and Dusclops. Well, I put it with the Trick Room, and then we put Glacier, and it's just so good. This is something you can very likely expect to come across in VGC. Torkoal's the slowest weather setter, so like say you bring both of them out, say you like a Tyranitar or whatever, or like a Abomasnow, no matter what, Torkoal's weather will always get off. Venusaur's Chlorophyll is insane. It's so like having the sleep powder is great. Great counters would be weather, um, such as rain. Watch out for Venusaur and Gashadon. And then weather such as sand. Watch out for Venusaur and Gashadon. And that's just simply what it is because, so in like rain, Gashadon's Storm Drain will generally take in water hits, and Venusaur is super effective against water. But in sand, you have rock and ground types. You have Venusaur, and Gashadon, so you gotta watch out for them. So a hyper offense could work here, but you gotta be very careful. Then you want your sleep tech, such as safety goggles, overcoat, redirection, such as like Among Us, and so I think that'll be great for the Sun teams. And I really think the team you could like I don't think Sun teams are OP, but they're definitely out there and they could do so much. Um, you got to be careful also for Gigantamax Charizard and Gigantamax Venusaur, but besides that, it's not too bad. Use powerful water types for for Torkoal and Charizard, flying, poison, or fire types for Venusaur, grass types for Gashadon, ghost and dark types for Dusclops, fighting, fire, rock, and steel for Glacier. Not that Glacier has been common on these teams, but like I think because of how good it is, it will be put on Sun Trick Room teams. Next we got Colossal Weakness Policy. So let's go ahead and Colossal Weakness policy. Shout out Wolf Glick. So Wolf Glick is my favorite Pokemon YouTuber. He's actually my hero, and he actually won the Players Cup 2 with Colossal Weakness Policy team. And so I think a lot of people are going to try to imitate or mimic it, which there's nothing wrong with that. It's actually really good. Colossal can reach a speed of 360. Insane offensive pressure. Great speed control. And I put Dragapult with safety goggles just because, with like things like Amoonguss, and then like sand or hail, it's definitely something great. Let's see, Trick Room works great, but you got to be careful with Colossal though, because even though this is Trick Room, it still needs a lot of EVs to be fast. So, some counters, powerful water, like Max Geyser with rain, powerful ground type attack. Honestly, Trick Room would be good here. Psychic Terrain, which was that priority. Definitely speed control overall. Hyper offense could work if it's played right. So basically, you'd want to have something fast. So say you would bring you could bring like Whimsicott or Tornadus with Tailwind, with another Pokemon. Get outsped and Oko Dragapult unless it's sashed. If Dragapult is sashed, you will have problems, but you do have Urshifu that has the focus sash. But you could always use like Max Hailstorm, which will Oko, and then the Hail Chip damage could do something. So that's definitely something to take into account. Next we got a second version of Hyper Offense, focused more so on Spectrier. Hyper Offense B2 Spectrier. So you're gonna see things like redirection, heavy offensive pressure, speed control, Okos, games end in less than 6 turns. Great type coverage. Basically, so a team like this is going to have redirections such as Clefairy, Amoonguss. You have such offensive pressure between Cinderace, Tornadus, Regieleki, and Spectre, especially with its ability. You have good speed control, whether it's Electro Wave with Regieleki or Tailwind with Tornadus. You're going to be dishing out Okos left and right with Spectre's ability, Life Orb, and then being like Dynamax. Most games will end in less than 6 turns because of how much offensive pressure with like little to no setup. And you have great type coverage. So for instance, you have like Cinderace who can turn like dark, fighting, flying, and get the stab. Plus with the expert belt, you got Regieleki that can handle the water and flying types. Spectre, Dark Pulse handles Ghost and Psychic. Shadow Ball that handles Psychic and Ghost. And Stab, Mudshot that handles so much, and so different things like that. So the way to counter it is a faster hyper offense team. Trick Room is great. Bulkier Mons. Basically anything that'll that'll give the edge. Maybe like Intimidate, Will-O-Wisp, Snarl, Parting Shot, and like max moves. Those are just some overall great things that will be a great way to counter it. Next we got Sand. So Sand is actually my favorite type of team to play with. I just don't think it's the best, and I think it can be easily countered. So, back in the day, we had Tyranitar, Excadrill, Gastrodon, with like Rotom Heat or whatever. Now that we have like Dracovish's hidden ability, and we just have better Pokemon and more Pokemon have been released, we have to change the team. So you would bring like Tyranitar, Excadrill, and Dracovish because Excadrill and Dracovish have Sand Rush, so 50% increase for ground, steel, and rock. So even though it's more so gonna be Tyranitar and Excadrill getting that boost, but um great speed control. Don't need Tailwind. So like say you were to put Tailwind on there, you would you would outspeed everything. You have Regieleki also for good speed control. You got great type coverage, super bulky Mons. Because you also do got the Dynamax option. So some great one great jump damage over time. So basically, Sand, you lose like 1/16 of your max HP every turn, unless you're Rock, Ground, or Steel. So for some counters, Water and Grass Mons are great. You wouldn't really want to run a Hyper Offense just because, you know, with their speed and stuff, they could simply OHKO you. Um, Weather control is great because if you set up Sun, Hail, or Water, or Rain, you know, they lose their 50% boost, but then Dracovish and Excadrill lose their speed. Um, and the reason why I've been putting Rillaboom, Incineroar, and Regieleki in a lot of teams, I think those are really common Pokemon that are great for nearly any team. So that's just something I wanted to throw out there. Speed control is good. You could use like Trick Room, and so beating Sand, it's simple. Use Water, Grass, Weather control, and again, some form of speed control is always ideal. Now we got Regigigas and Weezing. So I really only put them two, and then I just threw out these guys just because it makes for great coverage. So Regigigas and Weezing. This is actually the hardest team I've ever fought. I've never played against a I've never had an easy match against Regigigas. Insane power, insane speed, no abilities. Games end in roughly 3 to 5 turns. Massive bulk. Great support. So basically, you have Regigigas who just generally destroys everything. You have Giga Impact, which you get stabbed, and then Max Strike. Then you got Thunderbolt, Nice Punch, which become you get rid of Thunderbolt because you want Thunder Punch. There you go. Of course, and it's always Life Orb, and then you have Weezing. So generally, 90% games go is you bring Regigigas, Weezing, Dynamax Regigigas, you protect with Weezing. And again, Weezing has like Will-O-Wisp and stuff, and Taunt and stuff. A great way of counter is Intimidate, if you can. Then like Will-O-Wisp, Snarl, Parting Shot, Max Moves. Kill Weezing, because then its speed and attack is cut in half. Have a base speed of 101. So basically, Regigigas is generally going to be Jolly. Has 100 base, so if you have 101 base speed, you will do good. It's hard with fighting types because fighting type moves because when you Dynamax, your fighting type attacks are weaker. So Hyper Offense really isn't going to be good. Hyper Offense could be good, but you could use like Sleep, Paralysis. I don't know how to spell Paralysis. Poison. Freeze would be ideal, but there's no strategic way of freeze. Fighting types. And so things like that. Ghost types are great because um, Giga Impact can't affect them. Speed control, such as Trick Room, Tailwind, etc. So, that's actually, I think this is the hardest thing to deal with. And I just put Incineroar, Tapu Fini, Rillaboom, Regieleki just because those are great, just overall supportive and great mons that you can use. Next we got Moltres Weakness Policy. So, I didn't even bother dealing with Moltres because there's so many different builds. Basically, it can get powerful. But you'll generally see like Comfy using like Draining Kiss to activate the weakness policy and stuff. Raichu for Lightning Rod to absorb it. So, um, really powerful special attack. Great special defense. Um, great with nearly any team. So this could be great with like say Trick Room. You could like there's no one team that you would put this on. Like you're not gonna say, oh, that's a Galarian Moltres team. You may say, oh, they probably got Galarian Moltres weakness policy, but overall it'll go so well. The best way to counter electric attacks, so really you would want to use physical attacks, but you would want to use like electric, rock, ice, and like fairy. Things like that. I mean, there's not really much to counter. It's really basic. It's more so what they have to support. And so, like Moltres and Comfy. So Moltres by itself, yeah, you can eventually take it out, but it's more so what do you have with it. So, um, next we got Rain. So Rain is tough because it's similar to Sand. You have speed control, and your Sand attacks get great. So speed control through Swift Swim. Great move coverage, um, accuracy, bypass through like Hurricane and Thunder. Um, but yeah, and so you have like, say you have like Kingdra, Hydro Pump, Ice Beam, Hurricane, Ludicolo, Ice Beam, Leaf Storm, Hydro Pump. You got Raichu for Lightning Rod, and so then you got like screens. So, and then they're powerful. Okay, so like counter would be like Weather, probably Sun and Sand, but you gotta be careful of type coverage. You would want to use like electric and grass attacks, speed control through Trick Room, Tailwind, um, turn off Trick Room, Tailwind, turn off Rain. I mean, it's not that hard. Like Kingdra, if you had say you had like Freeze Dry, boom, 4 times effective. But you use like Moonblast, Ludicolo, Max Airstream, Politoed, Thunder, Hurricane, Raichu, Max Quake, Incineroar, Max Quake, Max Rockfall, Close Combat, Grimmsnarl, Ironhead, Moonblast, etc., etc. So like things like that you could just completely do. So, but yeah, you want to watch out, especially Politoed's Perish Song. Next we got Metagross Weakness Policy. Metagross. So this is actually my build. I built this team. It works so well. So super powerful. So you have Metagross's 135 base attack plus weakness policy. It's insane. And then you have Clear Body. Clear Body prevents stats from being lowered. Speed control. Bulldoze. Works great in Trick Room. It's just overall, it's such a good Pokemon. Works well on most teams. So like you could pretty much throw Metagross and honestly Salamence. So Salamence I think is the best one just because you choice scarf Salamence and boom, get off Bulldoze, get off Metagross's weakness policy, you're in great shape. So for some counters, powerful ground, ghost, dark, uh, fire attacks. Um, honestly, speed control with like Tailwind, Thunderwave slash Nuzzle. Um, Immune to intimidate. Um, bulkier mons. Um, stall D-Max turns. Will-O-Wisp. So, I mean, that's really all I can truly think of as far as, like, counters. Overall, after, once Dynamax is done with, it's not too bad. I mean, you do better with, like, special attacking moves, and so you just gotta be careful of the support. Really, you want to focus more so on its support. Because Metagross alone really isn't that big. So now we got Remastered Big Six. And why do I call it that? And people may disagree or agree, it doesn't matter. Basically, these are the 6 most common Pokemon right now on Sword and Shield ladder. I consider these just because they work so well together. Works so great together. Any lead. Great coverage. Speed control. Intimidate ×2. Form of hyper offense. Fake out ×2. One can D-Max. So overall, this has just such great. Basically, I find a team like this, you want to pick apart each mod. So you say, you got like so counters no direct speed control. Trick Room honestly works well. Since this is more so physical, Will-O-Wisp, Intimidate, Snarl, Parting Shot. Keep in mind, Tapu Fini has the Misty Surge. Bulkier Mons. And I feel like this team really makes you forces you to play smart. So, and then next we got Pokemon to watch out for. So Moltres Galar, you're gonna generally see it with a weakness policy. Berserk. Special attack. How does that work? Is less than 50%. You're gonna generally see Air Slash. And what's Fairy Rat? Nasty Plot. So, and then of course Protect. So basically its biggest deal is quickly so in theory you could have a +5 special attack Moltres. Counters strong ice, electric, rock, and fairy attacks. That's really it. Next we got Dragonite with a weakness policy. So Dragonite's one of those Pokemon that you can use Multi-Scale or Inner Focus. Inner Focus prevents it from being flinched, and it's immune to Intimidate. And then Multi-Scale um, prevents so it cuts any kind of damage in half when HP is full. You may see like Outrage or Dragon Claw, Dual Wing Beat, or Fly. Then like Protect. It's super bulky and super strong. Figure out ability. Pretty much, I found that the counters is figuring out your ability. Use powerful ice types. Trick Room, Psychic slash Misty Terrain. Simple as that. Next we have Celesteela. So, I'm not going to do this for really anymore. We're going to kind of just go through. Celesteela, you give it like an Assault Vest. It's super bulky. And so it's going to stay around, and you have different coverage moves, Beast Boost. So like right now, this build, your special attack will keep going up. You got Salamence. You can do great with a so you do great with a Choice Scarf. But I would give it like Moxie. So every time you Oko something, every time you knock something out, you gain your attack stat goes up by 1 stage. Um, And so, with Earthquake, Dual Wing Beat, Dragon Claw, Rock Slide, Choice Scarf, and Max Attack with you have a 135 base attack, you are going to be OKOing a lot of stuff. Garchomp, this used to be really great, but not so much now. You have Bright Powder and Sand Veil. Basically, I want to say it gives you, I don't know, actually I don't know the numbers. Actually, that's a good question. So say your evasion to something is, I don't know. Basically, it'll boost up your chances of getting hit by things, and you can set up a like Sword Dance. You got Earthquake and Dragon Claw. Of course, then Whimsicott's a big deal because it outspeeds Tornadus. You have the Focus Sash, and Prankster, and you have Moonblast, Taunt, Tailwind, Fake Tears. That's going to be the most common set you see. You may see like Worry Seed for those paired with Regigigas. You may see Sunny Day for Sun teams, and so this is something to definitely keep in mind. The final thing is these are just Pokemon that are not as popular, but are that can be threats, like Charizard and Blastoise Gmax. Charizard is going to be mainly on Sun teams. Blastoise you may see on Rain teams or just like Tech teams. Teams, and like use it as like kind of like, oh, you may have this, such on like a special sweeping team. Entei is really bulky, and it actually has the Inner Focus ability. Great speed, great attack, and great HP. So it'll definitely hang around. Suicune, I think you may find that you get rid of Tapu. You may not want to run Tapu Fini, whether you just can't get it, or you don't want to have that weakness to steel and that weakness to poison. Suicune, it's not as bulky as far as the special defenses, but overall, I think Suicune it will definitely see some play. Cresselia used to reign supreme back in the day. Still great stats, but right now in this format, Psychics aren't that great, so keep that in mind. Porygon Z, it's a great sweeper, especially with the Ice Beam with a 135 special attack. Can't be intimidated, and pretty good speed. So like you could probably see like this Life Orb, or like you could see it like you pair it with a Hitmontop, use Match Punch. Tapu Koko because of the Electric Surge, and then like Regieleki does get I want to say it's trying to think what's the move called let's see let's see. Rising voltage. Really on any electric Pokemon, it'll do so much damage, and so I think we may see a little bit of Coco. Furthorn, just great coverage overall. It does have that 4 times weakness to fire, but I don't think you really see that many fire types out there like you would think you'd see. But it was great in the earlier VGC 2020, so we'll just have to kind of keep an eye on it. But every team needs to have some kind of fire attack, or just overall fire Pokemon. We got Alola Ninetales and Kanto Ninetales. You have like a Snow Cloak, and then you have like Snow Warning. You could possibly run a Bright Powder or have the Snow Warning. Ninetales, Slash Fire, and then of course Drought. You do better with Drought, just because you may want to have that fast Weather Setter, and it has great cover, great moves. Overall, let's see, you have Will-O-Wisp, you got Hypnosis, you actually, and then he has great this move coverage, Dark Pulse, Energy Ball, Extra Sensory, Scorching Sand, Shadow Ball. So you definitely have quite a few things that you can do with it. Let's take a look at Ninetales. You do have Auraville, which is great. You do get Hypnosis. Nasty Pot. You do get so you got a couple of things. And as far as your move pool, I don't know. So you got Freeze Dry. You have a lot of moves that are like more so Fairy, Psychic, Ice. You do have Solar Beam, so Alola Ninetales is definitely the Ninetales could definitely be some. Regidrago, not too much really about it. It's got such great HP. Defenses aren't really all that great, but I think this is something we can see that we'll see out there. It's nowhere near as popular as Regieleki, but I think you may see it on some teams. So definitely bring something that can hit dragons such as Ice, Fairy, or Dragon type. Primarina, it used to be really great, especially with Trick Room teams. I knew with Incineroar, it's pretty good as one of the Alola starters. I think you'll see a little bit of Primarina. It's stronger, especially than Tapu Fini, but Tapu Fini has better defenses. So you just kind of have to see more so about preference. Tapu Fini is faster, but it's if you're running Trick Room, maybe Primarina could be your way of going about it. So you just kind of have to see. It's got the Liquid Voice, so next you got Thundurus and Thundurus Theron, Volt Absorb, and then you got Prankster. Of course, Stuff Indian. You also do have Defiant. Decent stats. I think your best bet is probably Thundurus. You got the special attack, and you got Defiant, especially with Intimidate kind of going around, and the lowering of stats. That'll be a big thing. So I definitely think we'll see Thundurus and probably some Thundurus Theron. Togekiss used to be like the #1 Pokemon you would run back in VGC 2020 in the earlier days, but it's kind of fallen off now, especially because it's just overall. I mean, it can still be used probably more so as a sweeper, or you can still use Redirection. You got Super Luck, Serene Grace. It's not that fast. Like, I think what does it top out at? 145. But great special attack and decent defense overall. So I think it'll see some. Sylveon's always been that Pokemon that it's like you kind of have to watch and see because there's different ways you can run it. You run like the Pixie Plate along with the Pixelate. You can run like Quick Attack or Hyper Voice. You probably wouldn't run Quick Attack unless you were doing something like with the Eject button or you're trying to set up a weakness policy. You got Moonblast, and so you have quite a few things. Speed's not that great. It actually is just like it's even speed with Incineroar, but Trick Room this would be great. Not that great on the physical side. Okay HP, but no, I think it'd be some. Chandelier, Prince and Trick Room. This is a really powerful mon. How slow can we make this thing? Okay, so it's not that fast, but I mean, not bad actually. Probably under Tailwind, this thing could be really good. Probably give it a Focus Sash. I'd probably give it a Infiltrator. For moves, I'd probably run like Flamethrower, Heat Wave, Shadow Ball. probably like Dark Pulse, maybe Clear Smog, maybe. So you definitely have a couple of things. I think this Chandelier is something that it hasn't been like truly explored yet. But it can be really good. Next we got Indeedee male, Indeedee female shadows it because of the Follow Me. But this does have Imprison and it does have Trick Room. But it does also it does have Inner Focus. But it does have Psychic Surge. So maybe we'll see some Dragozolt with Hustle, and it actually has Sand Rush. So you could actually in theory throw this on a Sand team as well and have that Electric type. Um, and, and you're gonna see some stuff maybe. I don't know if it'll be big right now with everything else, but I think we may see it. We got the Galarian Zapdos. It's nowhere near used as much as Galarian Moltres, but with Defiant, uh, it'll definitely do some. It can definitely do some stuff. Decent stats. 100 base stats, so it'll be on par with Regigigas. And I think honestly, you could possibly throw this on your team as like something to counter Regigigas. Galarian Articuno. It does have competitive. Your special attack is raised by 2 stages when it's lowered by a foe. Very similar to Zapdos, except this is for special. It does have like freezing glare, 10% chance to freeze, and it's psychic, so maybe that could be something. We see it a little bit. I think the Galarian birds you'll see a lot as we proceed on. Gyarados and Arcanine, both great Intimidator users. Arcanine has the Justified ability. Gyarados gets Moxie. Arcanine's good. It has a great move pool, such as Close Combat, Extreme Speed, Flare Blitz, Iron Head, Play Rough, Psychic Fangs, Wild Charge. Has a couple of things, and Gyarados has a pretty decent move pool. Aqua Tail, Earthquake, Power Whip. So it's more so about what do you expect. They both got Intimidate. So we got Hitmontop. So at first glance, Hitmontop may seem really weak, but Hitmontop's actually pretty good. Ideally, I would probably give it 252 in the HP. You could possibly give it a little bit of physical defense. I would honestly either an Assault Vest or the Assault Vest or the Eject Button's good, but I would give it the Assault Vest. Max out the defenses, not worry about that, and put a little bit in the attack. Probably give it like maybe Match Punch, Wide Guard, Quick Guard. I mean, there's really not too much. You probably give it Coaching. You could give it like Brick Break or like Bullet Punch for them priority, so you do something like that. So, but yeah, so this has been somewhat of a long video. This is only part 1, taking a look at the meta. In the next video, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna go into the next step, which is selecting a Pokemon. And so, yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I know it was really long, but I think I think this will give a lot of people a new outlook and a good way when preparing the team build. So, alright, Z Nation, thanks again for watching today's video. Make sure you hit that like button and drop a comment for sure. And if you're not already, go ahead and subscribe and hit that bell so you're notified for more videos coming out. And one thing I do want to say, me and Shadi, we're going to be doing doing video of us playing Among Us and stuff. And so, but yeah. Alright, Z Nation, thanks again for all the support, and I'll see you guys in the next video.